Let the ship set sail off to adventure. Got some Mary in my backpack. Abstracts, thought I got some pen and paper. Fit the whiskey, coke, berry flapjacks. Roll it up and put it to my lips. No need to pass there. So up in summertime, I undermine the underlying fact that I scrape pennies, but I want a dime. She's something else, I got it now. Well, yeah, my dude, she's something fine. And since I got a shot at her, they salty. I tell them suck a lime. I wasn't mine. Now I'm just clowning, trying to scrape a number. Smile after I take it from her. Copacetic today, but in 2 days disintegrate to bummers. I thought I won her over, but I just created blunders. The game I hate and love her. Thinking back to times of playing B because of breaking rubbers. I was a wild child and still extra. All these women still extra. I'm just trying to find an ill chick in a chill spectrum to make my broken heart feel better. Let the ship set sail off to adventure. Got some Mary in my backpack. Abstracts, thought I got some pen and paper. Fit the whiskey, coke, berry flapjacks. Roll it up and put it to my lips. No need to pass that. Let the ship set sail off to adventure. Got some Mary in my backpack. Abstracts, thought I got some pen and paper. Fit the whiskey, coke, berry flapjacks. Roll it up and put it to my lips. No need to pass that. Pass that. Pass that. Pass that. Pass that.
Welcome back, you motherfuckers. Yes, yes, yes. Sunday mornings are back. Sunday mornings are back by request, by popular demand. I've decided to bring it back to the mornings for the time being. That's right. Sunday mornings belong to One More Round Fights again. Thank you all for coming. I appreciate everybody that's stopping by. I appreciate it in the chat. I see you guys already. If you don't already know, my name's Gav. I'm the host of this here channel, One More Round Fights. And what we do here is we talk about the fights. We simulate the fights. We watch along and bet along the fights. We do everything all encompassing for the degenerate gambler in the fight sphere. So appreciate everybody that comes on by and shows love. Don't forget to follow on social. That's where we put out our parlays. That's where you can find out where we will be live next, all that kind of stuff. Don't forget to follow our other channel, Main Card Minute. Scan the QR codes below. Main Card Minute on your right, One More Round Fights on your left. Yeah, what to do is right there. So yeah, don't forget to do that. We are on our way. We have 602 subscribers. We're trying to get to 650. Onwards and forwards is what we're trying to do. Please. I know we didn't do so hot this weekend. It was a shit weekend for a lot of gamblers, if we're going to be honest. I mean, it was a tough weekend to get a lot of value unless you saw something specific. But, you know, it is what it is. We're trying to get to 650. Don't forget to sub to the channel. Don't forget to subscribe. All that stuff. Let's see what's going on in the chat. Lazy says, top of the day. Alex McNeil says, morning. What's going on, Alex? How you feeling? Infrared says, congrats on 600. Appreciate it, Infrared. 600 was a big milestone. You know, I thought 500 was a big milestone. And then I thought, you know, big things were going to happen for the channel. And then YouTube was like, hey, we just moved the goalposts. We just moved the goalposts on you. So that was tough that was a bitter pill to swallow. But it's all good. We're gonna move forwards. We got Contender Series, our final one on Tuesday. And then we're gonna have some more fun things coming our way after that. Hopefully I can scrounge some things together and make it happen. We'll see. I don't know. And yeah, before we get into it, you know what? Nah, let's just get into it. All right. Let's start with what we always start with. We tend to, you know, just give people updates on MMA at the moment. You know what I mean? Just what's happening in this fight sphere, huh? What's new? What's most recent? And most recently, honestly, let's talk about it. Jose Aldo got a retirement ceremony at UFC Rio de Janeiro, which bravo to the UFC. Very class. Very class. I like that. Uh, um, I mean, to do that when he didn't get a proper exit from the UFC, all these years later, unexpected, finally come back to Rio de Janeiro. The King of Rio gets to lay his gloves down in the center of the octagon. I was so happy to see that happen. It was very unexpected and very cool on both parties to keep it quiet enough that we got to get that surprise is huge too, because oftentimes in the social media age, somebody gives some fucking stupid sneak peek on their social media that you're not supposed to see, and then out of nowhere everybody knows it's going to happen and it's already ruined before it happens, and that didn't happen. So appreciate to all parties. Jose Aldo got to lay his gloves down. That was awesome to see. Also, ex-fighter Thiago Tavares joins the UFC as a ringside doctor. It was a dream of his since exiting to, turn all his knowledge and combine his academia all together into a career of value that could provide, um, you know, a lot of positive reinforcement to the UFC behind the scenes. So shout out to Thiago Tavares. Shout out to him doing something great after his UFC career, because oftentimes we see a lot of these fighters, whether it's MMA, boxing, even, regular contact sports like football and rugby. Oftentimes once their careers are over, they have struggles finding things to do. So I love to see that Thiago Tavares found his calling. He's doing great. And he found his way back into the UFC in unconventional forms, but still found his way back. So very nice to see a story like that. Shout out to Thiago Tavares. Mike Perry. Everybody is interested in fighting on this fucking White House card, huh? Everybody you can possibly think of, no matter American or not, wants to fight on this fucking UFC White House card. Even Mike Perry's voiced that he wants to return to the UFC on the UFC White card. Sorry, the UFC White House card. So, I mean, I'm kind of already, I don't know about you guys, I'm kind of already sick of hearing this shit about the fucking UFC White House card, the UFC White House card, this, that. Like, bro, get over it. I'm sick of it. I'm done. Stop. Just stop it. No more UFC White House cards. No more. Oh, let's just get our main event. Let's stop getting people from all corners of the earth. We're not going to make this a UFC 300, okay? This is just going to be a UFC at the White House. All right? This is not even UFC 200 with the gold fucking ring. Bro, let's just stop right now. All right? Mike Perry on the UFC White House card, cool idea, but I don't think we need that. That's another piece that we just don't need. A lot of people throwing their names in the hat. And I'm starting to get sick of hearing about this UFC White House card. Like, yeah, cool idea. Yeah, Trump's birthday. Yeah, June 14th. All that bullshit. Whatever, bro. I'm sick of it already. Other MMA updates. Rajah Jackson pleads not guilty to the battery charges on Psycho Stu after assaulting him. He does face up to 7 years in prison if convicted. So just to provide a couple updates on that, because some people are wondering exactly what happened in that story. He was arrested for a period of time, released very shortly after. And then people thought that was the end of the story. But then this story comes out that he did plead not guilty to the battery charges. And he still has to stand trial and could face up to 7 years in prison if his lawyer isn't good enough. So, and the final thing here that I really want to highlight, because it's somebody from the New York area that actually, funny story, I ran into him I was actually going to a studio session to record probably a song that I just played before the stream. But I was literally walking around where was it? Canal Street. I was walking by Canal Street and I see this tall looking, dark dude, African looking, kind of African, you know what I mean? But like big, strong. And I'm like, this guy might be an MMA fighter. And I look at him and he sees me looking at him and he kind of stops and looks at me like, because obviously he's taken aback. He's like, it's New York. So, you got to stand on guard. I'm like, yo, you're Uriah Hall. He's like, yeah. I just gave him his props and let him keep on going. But it was just so funny that randomly I ran into Uriah Hall near Canal Street before his studio session. So yeah, shout out to Uriah Hall. The news is that he has signed to Karate Combat. Yes, he used to be a top 10 UFC fighter, used to be a tough fighter, New York native, spinning back kick, one of the scariest knockouts in tough history. But yeah, he is signed to Karate Combat. This is absolutely a fantastic signing for them because you get to showcase Uriah Hall in the best way that you can see Uriah Hall. Nobody's going to fucking stop him with their grappling there, huh? Let's go, baby. Uriah Hall is going to get some fantastic finishes in Karate Combat, and I hope somehow I can find a way to put some bread on him on an under, on a KO, on something over in Karate Combat, because Uriah Hall's about to scramble some brains over there. It's going to be crazy. It's going to be fucking crazy. I can't wait. Let's check out the chat. Lazy says, Aldo thing was cool. Reminded me of an NFL team bringing back a vet on a one-day contract to retire with his home team. Yeah, Bills are good with doing that type of shit. And that's exactly what it reminded me of. It was so perfect. Good analogy, Lazy. Sleeto says, what up, Sleeto? How you feeling this morning? Well, afternoon. Nope, still morning. I'm so glad to see that Anthony Smith gets a whole retirement video package and Aldo does not. Love it. I know it would have been nice too. It would have been nice to surprise us with a video package. And then we're like, why are they showing a Jose Aldo video package just because we're in Rio? And then reveal him there standing with the gloves. That would have been chef's kiss on the moment. But you can't, I'm still happy with what we got. I'm not gonna hate on it. I'm still happy with what we got, after assaulting him on video. I know that's why the trial is going to be an interesting one. Lazy says, in their defense, Aldo has retired twice now and has already been inducted to the Hall of Fame. That too. So, how many times can you do this for this guy? Because he did get that Hall of Fame stuff. True, says Sleeto. Lazy says, me and Uriah, we go back like babies and pacifiers. Hey. Oh, I have a fantasy draft in an hour, so we definitely have to finish the stream by 1. That's why I started at 11:45, just to give myself a little extra time. Better invest in karate coin. My ass off. No karate coin. I don't know how I'm gonna do it, but I need to. All right, so let's get into what happened this week. And okay, guess what happened? Charles Oliveira submits Mateus Gamrot in round 2. What? 2 minutes and 48 seconds. Rear naked choke. Charles Oliveira came out firing right away. Got right in the face of Mateus Gamrot. Started with a big exchange, 1s and 2s coming right down the middle in true Charles fashion. Got it to the ground. Ended up taking the back early, getting him mounted, almost got the finish, landing elbows, almost got the finish, getting a rear naked choke, couldn't get it in the end. Round ends, Gamrot looking like he's not here to win this fight. And I had some big brother theories over at ATT, but, you never know what some of these fighters come into fight week with. Also, he came into this fight on short notice. So, a lot of factors were playing against Mateus Gamrot in this fight. I mean, an away fight under those circumstances is always tough. But Charles comes out in round 2, does more of the same, gets his opponent down, takes the back, throws in that body triangle, throws in multiple choke attempts. Looks like he's got a face crank. Looks like he's over the chin. Might be under the chin. It doesn't matter. Charles Oliveira gets the tap from Mateusz Gamrot and submits him in round 2. He jumps out of the octagon into the Rio de Janeiro crowd, gets embraced like he's vintage King of Rio, Jose Aldo, and you love to fucking see it. Charles Oliveira gets the win in Brazil. A lot of people doubted my boy, the Bronx. A lot of people doubted him, man. A lot of people said this is too early. He's gonna get knocked out especially when this fight was Rafael Fiziev, obviously. But the opponent had then switched to Rafael Fiziev's former opponent, Mateusz Gamrot. A little more of a favorable matchup because this guy's more of a grappler than a striker, and Charles can do both striking, and he's a fantastic grappler with the most submissions in the UFC, by the way. So Charles Oliveira had many advantages in his corner, which is why I always saw him winning. And I'm just upset he never jumped to a plus dog. He was always like a minus 105, minus 104 even. So, yeah, shout out to Charles Oliveira with a huge win. And now what we need to talk about is what should happen with him next. Now, if anyone's talking about an Ilya rematch, you must hate Charles. You must fucking hate him. You think one performance after getting knocked the fuck out by Ilya is gonna get him back there? No, stop it. No. No title. No, I don't want to hear any title, anythings for Charles for a while. I'm talking 2 more fights at least. Okay. But there's 2 opponents that I want for Charles. One I feel like should happen next, and the other should happen later in 2026. Now, I'm going to just say both these names, and I don't mean them in any particular order, but Paddy Pimblett and Max Holloway. Those are the 2 names I see for Charles Oliveira. Charles Oliveira should only fight one of those 2 guys. Max Holloway to get a rematch from back at 45s. Would love to see it. Both of these guys have wins at 55s. It would be awesome. Shout out to AJ McKee. I love when he calls weight classes like that, 55s, 45s. But and Paddy Pimblett, Grappler's Paradise, who have decent striking. Paddy Pimblett, Charles Oliveira. I feel like that's almost a mirror fight, except one's younger and one's older, one's way more seasoned, and one's a spring chicken. So I would love either of those fights for Charles the Bronx Oliveira. Max Holloway or Paddy Pimblett, give it to me, please. Those are the fights I want. That's all I want to hear. And as for Mateusz Gamrot, he's in rematch central now. After taking a loss like that, another main event to another fighter that's on his way to the title, nowhere near a title at this point. You just need to get some wins under your belt. Well, you got to go to rematch central, okay? You got to either take on Beneil Dariush and try to get one back, or you got to take on Rafael Fiziev, who you did a favor by replacing, so he can do you a favor, or, do him another favor. But you beat him last time. Maybe you could pick up another win. I know it ended in a fluke leg injury that time. You know what I mean? So that rematch, I wouldn't mind either. But I feel like those are the only matchups. He's got to fight somebody under him. You can't reward him. Even though he did take this fight on short notice, that was not a performance that you reward. You can't give him a Dan Hooker coming off a loss. You can't give him a Paddy Pimblett. You can't give him a Justin Gaethje. You can't give him a rematch with Charles. You can't give him a Max Holloway. You can't give him an Arman Tsarukyan. You got to give him Rafael Fiziev. You got to give him Beneil Dariush. That's what you got to do. You got to make him fight for a spot. And those are the options for those 2 guys. Shout out to a fantastic fight, though. That was fun from start to finish. Even though Mateusz Gamrot didn't really look like he was much of a gamer that night, he did come back a little bit towards the end of that first round. But believe you me, Charles Oliveira had that fight handily from start to finish. But honestly, he had that fight when fight week started, dude. It's tough fighting in Brazil, dog. Everybody's yelling, you're going to die. You can barely eat. Your schedule's all fucked up. Time's all fucked up, possibly. You know, you're late for shit. You got to make weight. It's shorter time spans than you're used to. It's tough, bro. It's tough. Charles was always gonna win. He was always gonna win. BMF title though? No BMFs. No BMFs. No BMFs. I don't think. I mean, yeah, Charles and Max for the BMF. They want to fight at the White House or whatever. I wouldn't mind that being one of the baddest motherfucker fighting at the White House. Kind of makes sense. First of a three title title fight card. BMF to kick it off and then 2 more title fights, or BMF to kick it off, a title fight and then a gimmick fight. Who knows? Or a gimmick fight, then the BMF fight, then the title fight. I don't mind any one of those combinations, honestly. Melker says, "What up, chat? Hope y'all Genghis Gaff. I hope Boots won you some dough. He did. And if you listen to my picks, like I told Luke to not take 7 to 12, I was like, Luke, don't fucking waste your money, bro. Please take 1 to 6. After I convinced him, and he thanked me in the morning. Honestly, he thanked me that night. So shout out to Luke. He knows what the fuck was up. Melker says, Max or Patty? See? Melker knows. Melker fucking knows. Lazy says it's 100% Max versus Charles 2. Ilya will sit until after first of a year to face Patty on Paramount. The odd man out is Gagey, but he's done it to himself by insisting he gets the title shot. Yeah. Unless they do a Gagey fight. You never know. And I agree, run back for Z versus Gamrot, right? That's a great fight. That's a great fight. And get Fazeev back. You know, I know you couldn't fight on this card, but here, try to get this one back at least. Who's a prospect at 155? Because Gamrot would be an interesting fight for any prospect. The only prospects that I can really think of are Hoofy, but he just took an L. Grant Dawson, but they train together, right? Both at ATT, I believe. So that, I don't know, BSD is still in contender range, not prospect, but contender range. So maybe something like that. But I can't, unranked though, I feel like that would be kind of mean. Making number 8 fight an unranked guy, you got to make Hoofy fight an unranked guy. You got to make maybe Grant Dawson fight an unranked guy. BSD earned to not have to fight an unranked guy. Chandler might have to fight an unranked guy next, you know? Honestly, we know he will. We know he will, and he'll wait for it too. So, yeah, it's gonna be tough. It's gonna be tough. Wouldn't be the least bit surprised if they rebook Gamrot versus Sadiqov like it was initially intended. That would be the one I would accept. The one unranked guy I would accept for Gamrot. I'd be like, all right, they should do that. Yeah, Nazim Sadiqov. Shout out to Long Island, baby. Nazim Sadiqov. Yeah. You know that's my guy. Naz Sadiqov. Melker. That was who Gamrot was slated to face before the shakeup after Fazeev's injury. Oh, yeah, the Long Island guy. That would be a great fight. Yes, sir. Least bit. And then BSD versus Gamrot, not bad. How about BSD versus Naz? Since Gamer lost. Yeah. Yeah. That would be a way funner fight. Naz versus BSD. Oh, my God. Remember Naz against fucking Nicholas Mata? Oh my God, imagine BSD. BSD will go right there with him. He would love to go to war toe-to-toe like that. Love to. Absolutely love to. So let's recap what happened here at UFC Rio, boys and girls. Let's recap what happened, all right? There's a lot of things that happened. We already talked about Charles defeating Gamrot by submission, rear naked choke, round 2, 2 minutes and 48 seconds. Davison Figueiredo defeats Montel Jackson via split decision. 29-28, 28-29, 29-28. I thought this was more of a unanimous decision, Figueiredo. I felt Figueiredo almost won every round. I mean, he was beating him up on the feet because he was landing a lot of kicks to the body, keeping him off of him, landing a lot of leg kicks, keep him off. And then he'd spam a little takedowns, eventually got a takedown. I think he got a takedown in every round. And stayed on top or stayed on the back for at least a minute each time, killing the clock, beating up on Montel Jackson, landing small punches and being the dominant fighter. I thought Davison Figueiredo had a fantastic performance and deserved a unanimous decision, but Montel Jackson did come back a little bit in that third round, and maybe that's the one that they swung for him, possibly round one because it was a little bit closer. But yeah, Figgy's back, baby. I thought Figgy was going to be too small. I thought his wrestling wasn't going to be able to do the trick. Apparently, Montel Jackson needs to go back to the gym and work on his wrestling. Also, Figgy did not look that much smaller than Montel Jackson. Was wrong about that as well. So shout out to Davison Figueiredo. I doubted you, big dog. I doubted you, Figgy Smalls. I shouldn't have done that, big dog. I shouldn't have done that. Joel Alvarez defeats Vicente Luque via unanimous decision 30-26. 30-26. 30-26. Ouchies. Vicente Luque got poked by a thumb, which is a legal strike in the eyes of the MMA unified rules. So he calls for a stoppage to the fight. The referee honors it. They go back to the replay, see it, somehow let the fight continue, even though the fight probably should have been stopped at that point. Should have been a Joel Alvarez round 1 TKO, but we go onwards and forwards. Joel Alvarez continues to beat up on Vicente Luque like he was his big brother. Does that in round 1, does that in round 2, almost does it again in round 3, but Vicente Luque comes back a little bit, starts landing some strikes, keeps it on the feet, starts pushing him back just because he capitalizes on Joel Alvarez losing some steam. And yeah, Joel Alvarez still wins the fight completely and utterly. The minus 600 fight does not go the distance, did not cash. Mario Pinto defeats Jonathan Deniz via TKO punches round 2, 4 minutes and 10 seconds. Ding, ding, motherfucking ding. We have ourselves a heavyweight prospect, people. We have ourselves a heavyweight prospect. Okay? Good news, everyone. Good news, everyone. Good news, everyone. We have ourselves a heavyweight prospect. I mean, Mario Pinto comes into this fight dead even with Jonathan Deniz and walks out looking like this should have been minus 600 to plus 450. This was one-way traffic from the start. Mario Pinto immediately puts it on Jonathan Deniz, pushes him back to the fence, gets him down, lands on top, landing big elbows, cuts him up, got him bloodied and bruised, somehow gets to the end of round 1 because the referee just refused to end the fight, I guess. He was standing so far from the fight like he had no interest in ending it. Round 2 starts. Mario Pinto gains some of his stamina back. He says, fuck it. I'm going to go right back in there, try to do this shit again. This time, he's successful. He TKOs Jonathan Deniz in Brazil. Jonathan Deniz, what was that, my friend? I don't know if Mario Pinto is exactly as good as he just looked right there, or if Jonathan Deniz just came out flat, but yeah, I feel like we got a nice prospect on the way. I believe that moves Mario Pinto to like 11-0. Shout out to Mario Pinto, brother. I'm excited to see you fight your next fight. I hope you get a really good opponent, somebody that, you know, maybe they'll push you right into that top 15 and give you somebody that fell out on this card of Walter Walker. Maybe somebody like a Taliesin Teixeira who just fell in his last fight. You know, maybe they give you somebody like that, but I'd like to see him move up and take on somebody else. But I mean, Mario Pinto versus Mario Pinto versus Tai Tuivasa. Pinto versus Tuivasa.
Shut up and take my money.
Yeah, shut up and take my money. Take it.
Shut up and take my money.
Take it. Take it. Take my money, bro. I want it. That's the fight I want. Tai Tuivasa and Mario Pinto. That would be a sick fight. That would be a sick fight. I mean, it's gonna look a lot like that one, but that would be a fun one. That's all I gotta say. Kind of awfully, as an underdog, defeats Ricardo Ramos by submission, rear naked choke, 3 minutes and 2 seconds into round 1. Khan Offley turns the tables on the Brazilian. He thinks he's going to use his jiu-jitsu. The Aussie gets on his back, throws in the body triangle, throws in a face crank slash, rear naked choke, and absolutely finishes Ricardo Ramos. I mean, damn. Way to put it on the Brazilian in his home country, walk into his backyard, beat him the fuck up, and walk out with the spoils of victory. What a freaking win for Con Hoffley. I mean, shout out to Con Hoffley. Holy, I did not believe. And yeah, I started writing him off. I was like, yo, this guy's not even going to be in the UFC in a week or two. I mean, he fought for his spot and might have turned the tables on Ricardo Ramos. Michael Aswell defeats Lucas Almeida via TKO punches, round 1 minute and 42 seconds. I mean, we all saw this coming. There was a lot of talks about Lucas Almeida's right hand during fight week, especially ballooned up, big, red, swollen, obvious. The lines started changing, and we already knew how this was going to go. Michael Aswell was going to finish this guy. So before fight week, I was already on Almeida. After seeing that hand, I switched everything over to Aswell. Everything new in Aswell TKO, and that's exactly what happened. Aswell capitalized on the opportunity, did what he's expected to do, but in his next fight, I will look at that TKO a little strangely. Okay. Jafel Fio defeats Clayton Carpenter via submission. Kimura, round 1, 4 minutes and 42 seconds. He walked in there and beat Clayton Carpenter at every aspect of MMA. He walked in there, beat him up on the feet, landed the better strikes. He was able to take him down with his wrestling. He was able to get on the back. He was able to get on top. He was able to yank up the arm, get his leg over, and you get that Kimura. Jafel Fio absolutely made Clayton Carpenter look like he was not in the same class as him at all. So shout out to Jafel Fio. And then Vitor Petrino defeats Thomas Peterson via knockout punches, round 3, 26 seconds. 26 seconds. I mean, Vitor Petrino looked like he was on his way to another decision. I was thinking we were getting that heavyweight slop like we always love to see. But Vitor Petrino finds his way to land the big shot, face plant KOs Thomas Peterson. I mean, Thomas Peterson, it wasn't a nice knockout for him, honestly. Vitor Petrino showcasing that he can use his hands at heavyweight as well as he's a submission game at heavyweight. He can finish in multiple ways. Shout out to Vitor Petrino. I think I'm gonna stop doubting you. I was on the fade Vitor Petrino train before this fight, but I don't think I'll be on that train anymore. I'm getting off at the next stop. I jumped off the back of the train. I said, fuck it. I don't even want to see the next stop. Bia Mosquito defeats Arina Alexieva via submission. Rear naked choke, round 2, 2 minutes and 14 seconds. I couldn't believe it. I mean, she was beating her up in every way, shape, and form. It was kind of one-way traffic, honestly. I mean, she got on top, started landing them 12-6 elbows, cut her up in multiple places on her face. And the worst part about it was Alexieva was doing all this stuff before coming out. She was fucking growling at the camera. She was twerking in her corner. She was doing all this shit. And when she was getting announced, and then to come out and just get fucking 10-8'd like that in round 1, and then get 10-8'd to a finish in round 2 is crazy work. But shout out to Bia Mosquito at bantamweight. We got a new bantamweight prospect, ladies and gentlemen. We got a lot of prospects emerging on this card, which you love to see. And yeah, very nice fight to watch. Great camera work from the team. Lucas Rocha defeats Stuart Nickel via unanimous decision, 30-27 across the board. Nickel not looking great in there, I must say. I mean, no game plan was detected in this fight. 0 game plan detected. Lucas came out here, did what he was expected to do, beat him up on the feet, took him down, took the bag, beat him up. Stuart Nickel got back to his feet when he could, so props to him on that, but then he just get beat up again and put up against the fence and beat up with his hands down, exiting. It was not a fun fight for his coach, probably. A very frustrating fight for his coach to watch. Julia Polastri defeats Karolina Kowalkiewicz via TKO. Head kick and punches, round 3, 2 minutes and 56 seconds. Karolina Kowalkiewicz, 39 years of age, turning 40 years of age in 3 days, and looked every bit of that age there in this fight. I mean, she stood in there in rounds 1 and 2, was even coming back towards the end of round 2 and the start of round 3, but Gas tank failed her, age failed her. She slowed down, started exiting with her hands down, got up against that cage. Julia Polastri, the younger, fresher fighter, just kept throwing strikes. Carolina couldn't even get her arms up at that point, and the referee had to step in. But shout out to Carolina. I hope she has a great birthday, regardless of taking that TKO. And if that was the last one, have yourself a fantastic retirement as well. And then Luan Lacerda defeats Simon Oliveira via submission armbar, round 2, 3 minutes and 55 seconds. Lacerda was looking good. Then Simon Oliveira started coming back. Lacerda throws up the armbar, gets the submission win. I mean, I knew this fight was going to end in sub because a lot of these guys' wins both have ended in submissions, whether they're wins or losses in some cases. So yeah, I thought this was going to end like that. I just thought, Simon Oliveira was going to be the one to snatch something up because you know how weight missers do these days. But yeah, Luan Lacerda ends up winning. Maybe the weight miss curse is over because the weight miss last week didn't work out. The weight miss this week, it is what it is. And if you're concerned about who won the $50,000 bonuses, there was no fight of the night bonus, but there was 4 people that won bonuses. It was Charles the Bronx Oliveira, Vitor Petrino, Beatrice Mesquita, and Julia Polastri. The ladies showed out on this card, both getting finishes, and they both deserved those $50,000 bonuses. Okay, so shout out to both of them. And then also shout out to Petrino doing great work at heavyweight, and obviously the Bronx deserved that for the submission in Rio. And that's it for UFC Rio on my end. Let's see what the chat's hitting on. Oh man. Here we go. BSD is facing Beneil at 322. Oh, well, win or lose, I think that I think Beneil's going to lose that. So him coming off a loss, Gamrot coming off a loss, that fight still makes sense for me. Because that's the next one, right? Oh no, 321 is next. Oh, that's a while away. Well, maybe Gamrot will take some time off after that, but he might even be one of those guys that wants to get right back in there. So he might end up facing a guy like Sadikov. That actually might make the most sense in the end. Yeah. Good bounce back win for Figgy. I thought his career might have been over after Corey tore his knee apart. I know. And that was only like 3 or 4 months ago, bro. By the way, that wasn't that long ago. That was this year that happened. So that was crazy. That I was like, he's back already. That's why I thought he was going to get finished, but I guess not. I was fucking wrong. Lazy Bed says the star of the night, the highlight performance, ladies and gents, Bia Mesquita is coming. I've been shouting it out to the world for a year plus. I mean, oh yeah, I like her style. I like what I'm seeing in there, man. I think she's going to be a good staple in the UFC for a while now. Kayla's hand-groomed predecessor, the champion, is waiting. Christian L says Pinto looks like he can make some noise at heavyweight. His mic skills are arguably more impressive than his performance, right? That's another reason to like him. It's like, oh, bilingual. This could work out. And bilingual in a good way, not in the funny way where you're like, oh, maybe he'll get there one day. Like he's bilingual in the fucking good way where it's like, holy shit, he could possibly speak 3 or 4 languages. Holy. But shout out to Mario Pinto, man. Heavyweight's gonna be fun with him around. Breaking, BC has not followed Mesquita yet on Instagram. Somebody should call in a welfare check. Oh my god, maybe his phone's broken. That's the only logical reason. Khan, the awfully bad cheater. How dare you? Talking about them fence grabs? You talking about them fence grabs, lazy? I actually also need to follow B Mesquita. Melker says his fist was a balloon. And for a balloon. Lazy says the still frames of Peterson curled up like a reverse scorpion. So good. Yeah, when he teed it over like a rocking chair, like a fucking, oh man, that was bad. That was bad. Cosmo, we could have just OD'd on her and just didn't have the chance to follow before passing. Pants down in his chair, face on top of his phone and drooling all over. Kind of awfully flips off the crowd and gets mad. They won't stop booing him. Not the brightest guy. Laugh out loud. Yeah. I mean, has he not heard the stories of Colby Covington? Chael Sonnen? Lazy Bed says, I've been hearing some very interesting things about what lies ahead for women's bantamweight. Stuff could be very interesting in that division come next summer. Huh. Kayla could go up to 45, keep that belt going for a while, finally bring 45 back and let B Mosquito take 35. I would love that plan if that's what you're talking. Melker X says, the CTE riddled corpse of Rousey is not interested, Lazy Bed, if that's what you're referring to. Yeah, no way. And then Lazy says, laugh out loud, not Ronda, but let's just say a defunct division could be reopening and the top of 135 could look a lot different. Lazy says, Gaff a sharp one. I mean, great minds think alike. Great minds think alike. But I would love for that to happen. I mean, Kayla can't enjoy cutting a 35 all this time. I mean, 4 to 5 times should be enough for her. Maybe defend one more time and I'm out of here, losers. 45s, but let her get the 45 belt so she can have both of them first. And then she's just like, I don't want this one anymore. You could have it. You know what I mean? Like, let her keep the 35 and fight for 45. Don't make her relinquish first. But yeah, that does it for the MMA portion of this broadcast. All right, let's talk about some motherfucking boxing. Some boxing happened this weekend, and guess what? Jaron Boots Ennis took on Uisma Lima. Uisma? I don't know. He took on Lima. Okay, and exactly what we thought would happen. I mean, Boots fighting in his backyard, Wells Fargo Center, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Family all in the crowd, friends from childhood, front row, center, people paying big money to watch him fight. And guess what? He lived up to everybody's expectations. He cashed everybody's bets. I told you guys about that TKO 1 through 6. I told you, motherfuckers, man. I told you not to waste your money on that 7 to 12. Don't do it. You think Boots is going to go to a possible decision or take it late with somebody in his hometown, in his backyard? He went for the kill right away. Right away. Boots puts him in the corner right away, starts landing big shots, drops him. Somehow, his opponent gets back to his feet. Boots said, I bet. Gets right back on him again, pieces him up, drops him, has him looking up at him, stars in his eyes, Tweety Bird fucking singing to him. Fight over. Boots Ennis ends it in round 1. In round 1, 1 minute and 58 seconds in a boxing fight. In a boxing match. With big padded gloves on, he ended this man in round 1. A fellow boxer who's used to doing this shit too. It wasn't no amateur going in there against Boots. It was a legit boxer. And Boots showed everybody that they should be scared of him at 154. Okay? Jaron Boots Ennis is a fucking problem. He's a problem. I mean, heavy hands. The way he put this man down and gave him no chance in this fight. That's a bad, bad man. That's a scary motherfucker right there. Jaron Boots Ennis is him. Everybody should be on notice for Jaron Boots Ennis. That was a statement. That was a loud statement. Okay? Shout out to Boots. Holy. I did not expect that. I did not. I mean, I said 1 through 6. I thought it was going to be like a 5, maybe a 4, possibly a 6. Makes me sweat it out. Brother, no sweat. No sweat. Fight was over before it even started. That was crazy. That was shout out to Boots, man. That's my guy. Shout out to Philadelphia. I mean, I lived there for 5 years. Great city, fantastic food, good people. But when it comes to sports, the motherfuckers are demons. That's all I got to say. That's all I got to say. Elsewhere on the card, Guido Vianello defeats Alexis Barriere via KO round 5 with 26 seconds. Shout out to Alex Barriere. That was a fun fight until it ended. Tamir Smalls defeats Jose Ramon via unanimous decision, 98-91, 96-93, 95-94. Dennis Thompson defeats Sean Diaz via split decision, 60-53, 56-57, and 57-56. On the prelims, Zakeem Moses defeats Antonio Duntonel Jr. via unanimous decision, 60-54 across the board. Also on the prelims, Giorgio Vasili defeats James Wilkins via unanimous decision, 80-72 across the board. Harley Medeiros defeats Hyland Williams Jr. via TKO, also in round 1, 3 minutes. That was a retirement in between the rounds. And then Naheem Parker defeats Justin Palmieri via unanimous decision, 60-54 across the board. And that completes the Jaron Boots Ennis versus Lima card right there. Okay. Let's see what these comments. Ennis puts Boots to ass. Yeah, that was a bad one, man. I mean, his opponent laid down on his back, just looking up at Boots. Boots staring him down like, you had no chance, bro. You better fucking stay down. Like, that was crazy. That was crazy. Not a can either. Definitely not a can. Like, Boots showed everybody. He's like, oh, y'all taking this motherfucker to decision? Really? Pow. Round 1. Round motherfucking 1. God damn. I know everybody was happy that listened. If you didn't listen, I'm sorry. I mean, I wouldn't have listened to me either with how my MMA fucking tips went. You know, that wasn't a nice card to us. UFC Rio was definitely not nice to us, but Boots was very nice to us. Boots brought all the money back that we lost. So I appreciate that, man. I appreciate him so freaking much. So shout out to Jaron Boots Ennis, my guy. Unfortunately, guys, there will be no fighter spotlight this week. No fighter spotlight. I was gonna do one, and then I was thinking, nah, it doesn't make sense just yet. Can't do it on Boots. Can't do it. You know, there wasn't a lot going on. So no fighter spotlight this week. I'm looking to do one next week, though. There's a couple names next week I'm looking at. I mean, Zahabi might be an option, you know. Haven't done a Zahabi one. That would be a good one. Just saying. Possibly even Kyle Propolik, Asma Bakayev. I don't know. But yeah, hopefully we can get one in next week. I don't know, but no fighter spotlight this week, unfortunately. I wish I could have. It is what it is. Let's talk about the upcoming boxing slate, just so you guys just so you guys keep up with what's going on. The boxing fights coming up, boxing matches. We got one coming up in New York, actually. I tried to get creds as media. They denied me. I was just trying to show love to the event, but it is what it is, whatever. October 18th, Brooklyn, New York. Danny Garcia versus Daniel Gonzalez. 10 rounds of junior middleweight. Yeah, that'll be, I believe that's on PBC. I think that's PBC. So, yeah, Brooklyn, New York, Danny Garcia versus Daniel Gonzalez. I will have picks for that at the end of the stream. I got you guys. Also, Danny Garcia is also from Philly. Keep that in mind. October 25th in London on DAZN. Joseph Parker is taking on Fabio Warley. 12 rounds for Parker's WBO heavyweight interim title. October 25th, PBC pay-per-view on Prime Video. We have Sebastian Fundora and Keith Thurman. 12 rounds for Fundora's WBC junior middleweight title. November 1st in Manchester, England on DAZN. Joshua Buatsi is taking on Zach Parker. 12 rounds of light heavyweight. This is a light heavyweight showcase. We also have Bradley Rhea taking on Lyndon Arthur for 12 rounds and Daniel Lappin taking on Troy Jones. 10 rounds, though, at light heavyweight. The other two were at 12-round fights. November 8th in Fort Worth, Texas on DAZN. Virgil Ortiz Jr. is taking on Mahesh Breda. Erickson Lubin, 12 rounds for Ortiz's WBC junior middleweight interim title. November 14th in Atlanta, Georgia on Netflix. We have Jake Paul taking on Gervonta Davis. This is an exhibition fight that has recently been confirmed as an exhibition bout. So that will be happening in Atlanta, Georgia on Netflix November 14th. November 15th in London on DAZN. We have Chris Eubank Jr. versus Conor Benn 2. 12 rounds at middleweight. This is the rematch. We already saw a landslide. Well, not landslide, but a handy win for Chris Eubank Jr. Counterbend coming back late, landing power strikes. Let's see what happens in the second fight. November 22nd, Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. Plenty of fights on this card. David Benavidez is fighting. Jesse Bam Rodriguez, Abdullah Mason, Brian Norman Jr. versus Devin Haney, Subriel Matias and Dalton Smith, Archer Betterbeeve. It's going to be a fucking wild night, November 22nd. It's Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. Do not miss November 22nd. That's going to be delicious before some Turkey Day. Feel me? And then November 27th, don't forget about this, also in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, on the zone. Nail Inoue taking on Alan Picasso. 12 rounds for Inoue's undisputed junior featherweight championship. And that's the entire boxing slate coming up. Everything that matters, anyways. Infrared says not a can, but he took no damage. He should be fighting again in 2 months, but won't be. I agree with that, but you don't want to take unwarranted risks, especially with the fight camps being so close. So Boots, yeah, he'll take a little time off. I don't know exactly what he'll do, but he'll take a little time off. I'm glad you didn't bet on Dave Allen, Gaff. I know a YouTuber who lost money, sadly. Yeah, hell the fuck no. Why the fuck would I have done that? No way. No way. Just Boots, baby. Boots only. So boxing is going to warm up after this slump we in. Exactly. Yeah, because I know we didn't have anything for like 2 weeks, and we finally got a boxing bout yesterday. And that was like, oh, finally. Holy shit. We haven't seen boxing in so long. So, yeah, we're about to heat up. It's about to get week after week after week. We're going to have something at least halfway decent. We got a couple good pay-per-views coming up, so I'm excited. And maybe we'll do some watch-alongs for those if Luke doesn't do them. And then Melker says, my Hydra of favorite fighters in boxing is Benavidez, Bam, and Inoue. So I can't wait for the next few fights. Yeah, Christmas and Thanksgiving are gonna be nice. Christmas and Thanksgiving are gonna be nice. You're gonna be around the family, get the fights on the TV, got the main card minute and the one more round fight streams on your phone or your laptop. Next to it, maybe got one earbud in to keep us going. I feel, good things, good vibes, good vibes. Christian L says, how far do you think John Park can go? Nah. I don't know, man. To be honest, I'm not the best person to ask. That's more of a Luke Thomas question. Wait, he's fighting on Christmas? Shit, I may be on the farm. There's no Wi-Fi there. Fuck. Yeah, you might have to get yourself a little Starlink. Might be worth it. Rent that bitch for like $40 that week. Rent that thing for $40. I'm stealing a lot of data before I leave. You might have to. Or get that Starlink. Can you even get it where you're at? I feel like it's still unable to get in some countries or some bullshit. Maybe it's worldwide now. I don't know shit. But you never know. I was going to debut this social media segment, but I think I'm going to run out of time. So unfortunately, we're not going to do that. We're going to do that next week when I have more time. I still got to get ready for this draft, for this NBA draft here. Okay? So, it is what it is. We don't have a Starlink in South Africa. Yeah, that makes sense. So unfortunately, yeah, you might be cooked. Melker. You just might be cooked. Here's the picks. Here are the picks for UFC Vancouver. Okay. Wait, did I make a picks graphic? Oh, yeah. Picks on UFC Fight Night Vancouver, guys. I only got a few names. I will elaborate more by CP units on Friday. Maybe I'll have a little bit more information for you on Tuesday for Dana White's Contender Series. So don't forget to come on by for that as well. But my picks on UFC Fight Night Vancouver. Azamat Bakayev. I'm feeling Azamat Bakayev. I'm feeling Danny Barlow. You always know I rock with Danny Barlow. Very solid prospect, very long. Charles Jourdain. My reason for Charles Jourdain is my brother's theory. I feel like when brothers are winning, they win together and they lose together at this point. The Walker brothers, it is what it is. Possibly one at a time theory as well, because maybe Johnny Walker was about to, I don't know. All I'm saying is I feel like Charles Jourdain, I feel like he's going to streak here. His brother looked great, and I feel like they train together. I feel like he's going to look great. Matt Favola, you already know I'm rocking with New York. I'm rocking with Long Island. I feel like he can get the win against Copper Polic, I believe. So shout out to Matt Favola. I hope he has a great camp, and I hope he comes out strong, gets himself a big win. And then Mike Malott. You guys know I follow the Kevin Holland trend. And when he takes L's, he takes them in pairs. Go look at his record. I don't think he wins this fight against Mike Malott. I think Mike Malott takes this fight by decision, beats up on Kevin Holland for 2 rounds. Kevin Holland maybe makes it interesting in round 3, but Mike Malott puts Kevin Holland on his 2-fight skid that we've come to see so often throughout his career. So those are the picks that I have for UFC Fight Night Vancouver. I don't have any picks really for PFL Africa 3, not just yet. There's a couple guys that I am looking at on this card that interest me. Patrick Ochem, Shido Boris Esperanza. He was on our parlay last time. Abraham Babley fighting at heavyweight on the prelims. I like that name a lot. I like him a lot on the prelims. Obviously, Abdullah Kane is fighting at heavyweight, so don't forget about Abdullah Kane. I don't even know who he's fighting. Hopefully, he should get his opponent shortly, but Abdullah Kane should be an easy minus 2,500 leg. And then I think Maxwell Jantu Nana against Justin Clark. I like Maxwell Jantu Nana as well. So there's the names I'm looking at on PFL Africa 3. I'll have a little bit more for you guys, hopefully, come that day, because I think they're going head-to-head, right? They're both on October 18th. Yep, both on October 18th. So it should be PFL Africa earlier in the day, and then it's going to be UFC DeRitter and Allen. It might overlap just a little bit, but it should, should be one after the other, if I'm not mistaken. So we'll see what happens with those cards. And then finally, my pick on Danny Garcia and Daniel Gonzalez. Guys, Danny Garcia hasn't finished anybody since 2019. Okay? Also, Daniel Gonzalez largely wins by decision, only loses by decision, really. So this fight, if Daniel Gonzalez loses, he's going to lose by decision. Danny Garcia, a little older in age. Yeah, he used to be a killer, but again, he hasn't finished anybody since 2019. No knockout since 2019. So Danny Garcia decision is absolutely my boxing bet coming up this weekend. That is the only bet I'm willing to take. No Garcia TKOs. It's going to be a Garcia decision. I'd be willing to take Garcia in the over just to be safe, because you never know. A final round finish is, sometimes these refs get a little jittery because it's a big name. But yeah, I would definitely go with the Garcia, definitely go with the over in that fight. I like Danny Garcia to get the win. It's in Brooklyn. I don't expect him to lose in Brooklyn. And that's it. That's the show that I have for you guys. Let me see the last few comments in here. Is Brendan Allen the dog next week? He is the dog against DeRitter, and I like him as the dog. I think I'm going to be rocking with Brendan Allen. PFL has a lot of work to do to make me care about PFL Africa, and I live in South fucking Africa. Tisk tisk. That's fair, but keep in mind PFL MENA, PFL Africa, PFL Europe. That's where we make our bread at. Don't forget that. I have a parlay for you guys next week. I have one for PFL Africa. I have one for for UFC Vancouver. I'm not going to have one for boxing just like this week because it's a single and I already let it out. If you guys just ask, I'll let you know. Garcia decision, just like I did on the main card minute stream for bouts 1 through 6. But yeah, I got you guys. Infrared says, appreciate the effort, Gav. Don't worry. I got you. Enjoy your B-Day, Gav. Salute to the Libras. Appreciate it, Melker. Appreciate it, brother. Yeah, I will. Hopefully, I get to relax all day, get some buds. I might roll myself a little birthday blunt, have myself a good old little time. And just enjoy another year on Mother Earth. Just having a good time, But appreciate everybody that showed up in the chat, showing some love coming through. We're going to try to keep this time because people seem to like it. So appreciate you, Melker, Infrared, Chris Janelle, Lazy Bed, Cosmo Kramer. Who am I missing? Sleeto in the chat, Luke at the main card minute, Alex McNeil, Manich, Kimbong Eel, Richland Ford, everybody that's going to watch this after the fact. I appreciate all of you guys. See you guys on Tuesday for Dana White's Contender Series. Don't forget to come on by for that. Luke will be here on the final one, so that's Tuesday at 8 p.m. Eastern time. And then we'll see you guys Friday for CP units. That will be at night still. CP units will be at night, so that should be 8 p.m. Friday, as well as the watch-alongs for PFL and the watch-along for UFC. That should be over the weekend as well. Either check us out on the main card minute or here, One More Round Fights. Don't forget to follow on social. We're trying to get to 650, so if you haven't already, hit that subscribe. Get your burner account out. Subscribe to the channel, follow us on social. One More Round Fights everywhere except for X, which is One More Round F8. Scan that QR code right there. Don't forget to follow Main Card Minute as well. Scan those QR codes right there. And then that's it for me. Have a good night, guys. I'm out of here. Enjoy the fights. Enjoy football. Enjoy your weekend. Enjoy Sunday.
I live life how I wanna. Smoke out to marijuana. I live my life in these streets, licking smoke out the window. I'm on a trip. Maybe I'm a gunner, cause I live in yonder. Hot box like a sauna, in a foreign or Americana. Let me grind my green, roll up, put inside my weed. Toast one to the sky, go the highest, then go puffin' like my trees. Floating on an Nimbus cloud. Who's blessing? Yeah, I'm hitting loud. Blowing smoke like guns blazing, blowing holes in a spanner when the day, and I'm saying I live life how I wanna. Smoke out to marijuana. I live my life in these streets, licking smoke out the window. I'm on a tree. Maybe I'm a gunner, cause I live in yonder. Hot box like a sauna, in a foreign or Americana. My eyes low, my vibes up, yeah. My fine smoker goes to sinus. If you want, I got more in a grinder. After the blood, you can call me a highness. I live life how I wanna. Smoke out to marijuana. I live my life in these streets, licking smoke out the window. I'm on a trip. Maybe I'm a gunner, cause I live in yonder. Hot box like a sauna.